These are two of the best smartphone gimbals that you can get at the moment. This is the Zhiyun Smooth 5S and this is the Moza Aircross S, a hybrid gimbal that, as you can see, also works with smartphones. But which one is actually better? Which one should you get? In this video, we will compare them in 9 different categories, and in the end, you can decide for yourself which is the better gimbal. So let's get started. Just a very quick thing before we hop into the comparison. In case you have not subscribed already, make sure to do so. Almost 90% of all people watching this channel are not subscribed, and it's helping more than you know. So thank you very much. But now let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Julian. I'm the creator of Smartphone Filmmaking Pro, and I'm super excited to have you for this very interesting video. I know you guys love gimbal comparison, and I know it's very interesting, and these gimbals cost lots of money, and it is important that you get the best for your specific needs. And this is exactly the reason why we are doing this comparison today, because both of these gimbals, spoiler alert, they are fantastic. I've made dedicated videos about both of them and both deliver amazing results. But they are completely different and they are for completely different people and purposes. And this is exactly what we will find out in this video. And just so that you know up front, this video is not sponsored by Zhiyun nor by Moza, so everything that I'm saying is 100% my true and honest opinion. This video does, however, have a sponsor, Artlist, but I'll talk more about them later on. But now let's get started with the first category, and that is the price and the packaging content. The Smooth 5S retails for around about $220 as of recording of this video if you're going for the combo package, or you could also go for the gimbal naked without any of the accessories, and this will run you about $170, $180. If you go for the combo package, you get, of course, the gimbal itself, you get this little table tripod, you get the built-in light and one additional light, and you also get a carrying case as well as a USB to USB Type-C cable. The Moza Aircross S, on the other hand, is a bit more expensive, coming in at around about $260, and for that you also get the gimbal itself, you get this table tripod, you get a quick release plates that you can use with your smartphone like I'm doing right now, or with your professional cameras, and you also get a phone mount, and you also get a carrying case. So when it comes to the packaging content, you get pretty much the same with both of them, but the Smooth 5S is a bit cheaper, so the first point goes to the Zhiyun Smooth 5S. The second category is already very interesting, and that is all about the weight and the payload. And again, let's start off with the Zhiyun Smooth 5S. This one weighs about 625 grams, and it has a payload of up to 310 grams. And I have been using this with my iPhone 14 Pro and also with some accessories, and this worked very well and just fine without any problems. The Smooth 5S definitely feels very solid, and a lot more solid than the DJI OM6, for example. So it's not too heavy, it's not too light. I think that's pretty good. On the other hand, the Moza Aircross S is a bit heavier, coming in at 750 grams. But, and this is a big upside of this gimbal, it has a payload of up to 1.8 kilograms. So that is 5 times more. No, that is more than 6 times more payload than what the Smooth 5S can handle. So this is a completely different gimbal when it comes to the payload and what you can actually do with it, or actually how much you can carry with it. So this point clearly goes to the Moza Aircross S. The third category is the balancing process. And I know that this is a very important topic for a lot of you guys. The easier and the faster, the better. The Zhiyun Smooth 5S is a pretty simple gimbal when it comes to the balancing process. Basically, you just spread your phone in, and then you have this knob at the back of the gimbal. You can open that up, and then you can just slide the gimbal, or you can slide your phone to the right and to the left until it stays in its position without falling over. You can also change the balancing process here on the back of the gimbal. You can slide it upwards and downwards. And in case you want to see an in-depth video about this, we also have one on the channel. I will link it up there. The Moza Aircross S, on the other hand, this is a full-on gimbal that can also be used with a DSLR camera, for example. And since this is a more professional gimbal, this also comes with a lot more options on how you can tweak the balance and, you know, just settings that you can change. You have a knob here at the bottom, here at the back, and also on this right side. Balancing a gimbal is not the most difficult thing on the planet, but you definitely have to practice this a lot more than on the Zhiyun Smooth 5S to get it right, and to get it right in a fast way. So overall, I think the balancing process on the Zhiyun Smooth 5S is a lot more intuitive and user-friendly. So this point goes to the Smooth 5S. The fourth category is the usability and the ease of use. Again, let's start off with the Smooth 5S. This is a very intuitive and very easy to use smartphone gimbal. On the back here you have a few different dials that you can use them to access different things, and you also have a mode button, and you can press that and then you can cycle between all the different modes that you have. I think that is very intuitive, very easy to use. You also have a joystick that you can use to pan and tilt and so on. The learning curve with this gimbal is pretty flat, but I mean that in the most positive way possible. It's absolutely user-friendly, and I think that is fantastic. On the other hand, the Moza Aircross S even has less buttons than the Smooth 5S, but on the back you do get this tiny screen. And at the beginning, at the very first time when I was using this, it took me, a few minutes to get used to the menu and how everything is working with this gimbal. But by the time you're used to it, it is also very intuitive and also very easy to handle it. And I actually have to say, I like the small screen that you get here. Also for maybe just checking the battery life or just, recalibrating the motors. On the Smooth 5S, you do have to open up the ZY Cami app to do this. With the Moza Aircross S, you can do this directly on the gimbal. I do really like the way the Moza Aircross S feels in my hand, also with this joystick here on this left side. At the first time, it did look a bit weird, to be honest, for me, but by the time I got used to it, I really enjoy this setup now, and overall, I have to say I really enjoy both of these gimbals. I love shooting with both of them, and I do not prefer one gimbal over another one when it comes to the overall ease of use. So I will call this category a draw. And before we will talk about the last four categories, I would like to very briefly talk about Artlist, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. Artlist has over 22,000 songs and over 27,000 sound effects, and new stuff is constantly added. Let me just show you very quickly how I'm using it and how it works. So this is what the dashboard looks like, and I'm currently editing a summer vacation video. So I'm just going here to the search bar and I'm searching for, let's say, summer vacation. There are plenty of different options, and I can just play it and see how I like it. And something that's also pretty cool here, you can always see if this is just an instrumental song or if there are also some vocal parts. So I think I like that one. Tell me something about yourself. That I will take that song. In case you do not find your ideal music right away, you can just go to moods here, for example, and then you can just take whatever you like. So for example, let's take happy. And then we have a bunch of different tracks that have a happy mood. Or another alternative would be just to go to video theme, and then you can just search for the theme that you're going for. In this case, I'm traveling. Then I can just browse through all the different options that Artlist provides me and pick the one that I like. Recently, I have also been creating an epic B-roll sequence, so I just went here to sound effects and I needed several different sound effects of someone cutting and slicing and, different sound effects. And I was finding all of these right here, and it worked perfectly fine. Artlist does have several different plans and subscription models for you, and you can get started for as little as $9.99. And for this, you can already use all the different music and sound effects for all your social channels. The first link below that like button will bring you to Artlist, and in case you decide to join with my link, then you will get 2 extra free months off of any annual plan. Thanks again to Artlist for supporting the channel. But now let's go back to the comparison and let's check out the last 4 categories. The 5th category is all about the different modes, and I do have an entire separate video talking about all the modes, on what they do and when you should use which mode. And that is a very important video because having these kind of gimbals is nice and they are fantastic and you can get great results with both of them, but you actually need to know what you're doing with them and how you can use what you have to its fullest potential. So mastering the modes is very, very important. And when it comes to the actual modes that you have, here on the Smooth 5S, you have the pan and follow mode, you have the locked mode where basically all the axes are locked. Next up, you have the follow mode, so now all the axes are following except for this axis right here. Next up is the POV, and now all the axes are unlocked, so you can do basically anything. And this is a very creative way of shooting and I like using that. I have also used this for the music video that I shot with the Smooth 5S, and yeah, it worked very, very well. And lastly, you also have the vortex mode, where you can do a full 360-degree spin, which is also very nice, and you can use that to get some very unique shots. To make this short, the Moza Aircross S has the exact same modes, not more, not less, so this category again is a draw. The next category is all about the stability and the smoothness of the shots that you can get with both of these gimbals. And smartphone gimbals these days, they create amazing results. If you know what you're doing, you can get some fantastic results with both of them. I have been using both of these extensively, and with the Smooth 5S I have even shot a professional music video, and with the Moza Aircross S I have also been shooting a lot recently. If you know what you're doing, you can get some absolutely perfect shots with both of them, and I cannot see any differences at all. Both of these gimbals do not have any of these micro jitters that you had in the past with some of the 3-axis gimbals, so if you know what you're doing, you can get some absolutely perfect shots with both of them. So when it comes to the stability and smoothness, both of them are absolutely top notch. The next category is all about the capability of these two gimbals of using add-on lenses and cages and microphones and all of that stuff. Because by the time you're in the rabbit hole of smartphone filmmaking, sooner or later you will want to invest into add-on lenses and microphones and lights and cages and so on. I know how it is, because many of our smartphone filmmaking pro students very often ask me about what they should get for certain scenarios. I really like the Smooth 5S because it gives me the opportunity to use it with my iPhone 14 Pro and also an add-on lens, or maybe an ND filter or a CPL filter or whatever that I would like to have. And for me, this is a massive benefit, because when I'm shooting outside on a bright sunny day, it is just important to be using an ND filter to have the right motion blur and so on. And the Smooth 5S can definitely do that. On the other hand, the Smooth 5S does also have a bit of a design flaw, because if you're looking at how this is built, it is absolutely impossible to mount a microphone onto this smartphone here, for example. And with the iPhone 14 Pro, it's also the same. There are some workarounds, and I do also have a video on a possible solution that you could try with mounting the phone more towards the left and then using maybe something like an L bracket. You know, it's somehow possible if you really want to have it and if you really try hard. But it's not, you know, designed for this, and it's a bit of a workaround. On the other hand, the Moza Aircross S, this is a complete beast. As we have talked about in the beginning of the video, this has a payload of 1.8 kilograms. So no matter what smartphone setup you're using, this can handle it like absolutely no problem. And this will handle everything basically. So right now I'm using it with a small rig cage and a Sandmark anamorphic lens. Absolutely no problem at all. I could not use this with the Smooth 5S here, just as a comparison. I have also rigged the Moza Aircross S up with this setup and also added a microphone, and this also worked. So when it comes to add-on lenses and cages and filters and so on, this will handle everything that you throw at it. When it comes to using it together with a microphone, as you can see here, there is a lot bigger gap compared to the Smooth 5S. So this is also no problem. And the higher payload combined with the design of this just makes it much more easy to use it with add-ons. And if you're planning to use lots of add-ons, and if you want to have the gimbal for years to come and for smartphones to come and add-ons to come, this will definitely be a better option compared to the Smooth 5S. So when it comes to the capabilities of using add-ons, like I said, the Smooth 5S does a fantastic job and is a massive upgrade compared to the beginner smartphone filmmaking gimbals, but the Moza Aircross S is just a completely different story and completely next level. So if this is important to you, this one will definitely be the way to go. And last but not least, let's talk about who should get which gimbal and overall my conclusion. So I think, as you have heard in the last category, For me, it is very obvious. If you are an ambitious smartphone filmmaker, if you want to capture some amazing videos with your smartphone and currently you're using your smartphone and you're thinking about using an add-on lens at some point, or you're thinking about using an ND filter during the summertime, then the Smooth 5S is a fantastic option, and I can absolutely and highly recommend that you get this gimbal. I have been using the Smooth 5 before this one for over a year, and it has worked extremely well. Battery life is awesome, and overall I cannot complain at all, and this is fantastic. The only downside might be the design flaw when it comes to using microphones, but there are workarounds, and for me this is not a big issue, as I'm not very often using a gimbal combined with my microphone system. On the other hand, if you are a very motivated smartphone filmmaker, if you care a lot about having the nicest and best gear, if you want to use cages, if you want to use add-on lenses constantly, and if you want to have the most flexibility, then I think the Moza Aircross S is a fantastic option for you. The flexibility it has is awesome. If you only use your smartphone naked at the moment without any add-ons, then I would not go with this gimbal, because this is overkill, to be honest, and just not necessary. And the way in how you balance it for this kind of scenario is just not ideal in my opinion. It does still work, no problem, but in this case I would not go with the Moza Aircross S. On the other hand, like I said, if you plan to use it with cages and add-on lenses and lights and filters and whatever you would like to add, then this is a fantastic option, and I can highly recommend it. The cool part is, if you plan to also upgrade to a smaller DSLR camera, then you can also use the same gimbal. And yeah, if this is a thing that you are considering, or if this is something that you might invest into down the road, then definitely go with the Moza Aircross S. In the end, basically, you just have to decide for yourself which of these descriptions that I gave fits best to you. And if you are even a step behind, I mean, that sounds a bit rough, but if you are just a beginner filmmaker and you just want to use your smartphone with a gimbal from time to time, then there are also fantastic other options that are a lot cheaper than these two gimbals. So I really hope this video helped you decide which of these gimbals is the best fit for you. In case you would like to learn more about filming with your smartphone, you can also check out our totally free webinar. This will be the first link below that like button. And inside of the webinar, I will share the top 5 secrets that you need to know to capture some awesome looking videos using your smartphone. Also, a huge thanks again to Artlist. All the music and lower thirds and text animations and everything that you have seen throughout this video came from Artlist, so you can definitely check it out. I was really pleasantly surprised on how good it really is. If you have any more questions, make sure to let me know. And in case you have not seen the video where I'm showing off a magic trick like Zach King does it, that you can recreate just using your smartphone, then click on this video over there. Thank you and bye bye.